Many of you saw my recent box break video that had both a $0 box and a $2 box, and it made a few of you feel a bit uncomfortable. A natural question then comes up with Outsiders releasing this week: is it worth the risk for you to buy a booster box of Outsiders and open it? Well, today on Master Set Madness, we're going to talk about how value is spread across cards within a TCG, how Outsiders compares with other Flesh and Blood sets, and ultimately, whether or not it's worth buying and opening Outsiders boxes. Welcome back to Master Set Madness. This is case 19 of Dynasty. It is the last case that we're going to be opening before Outsiders later this week, which releases. We're super excited about that. Yes, here on Master Set Madness, we are trying to open a complete set of every set. That's what we're doing, right? This is Dynasty. We're on case 19. You can see, if you're new, or if you're not new, there is a long list of cards on the right that we're still looking for. It is a long list, right? We got 16 left. Case 19, and there are still 16 cards we have not found. Remember, Master Set is everything. So one of every single version of a card that you can open up within the booster packs. That's what we're looking for. I'll start putting the assassin cards there. Crouching Tiger. And yeah, we got a ways to go. But let's not spend too much time talking about that. We've mentioned stuff like that a lot. Ooh, Deadeye. Pause for that though. We needed that in our last box. We got that though. Beautiful. We got 2 of them last time. That is a great pull. A great pull for us. Liking that. Hopefully we can keep that going here in this. We will check the value at the end, of course. But anyways, on to the topic of the day. TCG's value. I'm never going to get anywhere because there we go. Imperial Edict, Rainbow Foil. That is on our list of cards we need. Check it off. We're going to put that here on the left. Just a reminder that we did get a card off our list in box 1. In box 1, we got 3 and over half boxes to go. Look at this progress. Man, a lot of you are doubting that Master Set Madness Dynasty will be done first, but I'm making more progress in this than I am in Uprising. That's for sure. Whew. Topic of the day: Outsiders, value, $0 boxes. Should you even be opening packs? Am I doing like the worst thing ever by opening these packs right now? That's the conversation, right? So we're gonna start off in general, right? How is value spread across cards within a TCG? Right, as you can see right now, and as many of you already understand, that in trading card games, people need to open randomized booster packs to find the cards they need to play and collect, right? And so generally in card games, the common cards have little value because of the ratio that they're available compared to rarer cards, right? Enough packs are open so that most people who want to get the rarer cards to play or collect can get them, which makes the common cards just abundant, right? And excess to the degree they aren't worth much, right? Look at all that pile of commons we have right there compared to the Majestics. Right, that kind of makes sense. And so in Flesh and Blood though, Majestic is not the highest rarity of value, right? There's Legendary and Fable cards, which are extremely difficult to pull. They are not easy to get, and yet people want to use them, right? Some of them are pretty powerful, right? But they're also some of the most fun pieces to collect, right? And so with Flesh and Blood, most boxes don't actually contain a Legendary or a Fabled card in them. So in order for enough players and collectors to get them, a lot of boxes need to be opened. A lot. I mean a lot. And you all know that, right? Because you're watching Master Set Madness right now. This series, Master Set Madness Dynasty, I've only opened 24 Legendaries and 0 Fableds from 72 boxes. Right, 72 boxes. So that's definitely less than 1 per 2, right? More like 1 per 3. Ooh, gold foil. You do not see these a lot. I'll throw that up there too, just because those are harder to get. They're harder to find. So So let's take a little example here, kind of, with openings and all that value stuff. So while varies, from set to set for Flesh and Blood, an average case is going to have 1 to 2 legendary cards, right? It's possible that you get 3, and those are amazing cases, but it's also possible that you get 0. I have seen plenty of Looming Doom cases where you get 0 legendaries or fabled, unfortunately. With that in mind, let's say we have kind of this scenario. There's a play group of 10 people, right? And so for this play group of 10 people, for each one of them to have 1 legendary card available, it can be pretty realistic that you need to open 40 boxes of cards. So 40 boxes of cards, each person, 10 players, they each get 1 legendary to play with. And maybe they've opened up 1 fabled that they can all share, right? Maybe. If it's Master Set Madness and you have my luck, they probably didn't get any. Anyways, but that means that 30 of those boxes in this example here is our Cold Foil Spirit of Irina Legendary. Pause the conversation. We already got it for the set though, but it is cool. It's fun to see another Cold Foil Legendary because this is literally only the 3rd Cold Foil Legendary that we've opened. It is only the 3rd one, and we're on case 19. That doesn't make any sense to me, but I think that kind of helps the point of this conversation today. Anyways, that's the end of box 1. So back to our scenario, that means 30 of those boxes that play group opened didn't have a legendary or fable, and of course meaning then they didn't pull one of the highest value cards. So for the rest of those boxes, right, where's the value? Where does that come from? Well, the next level, the Majestic slot. And now I can already hear some of you are saying, yeah, Marvels, what about the Marvels? And it's true, Marvels are another option for value. But of course, you're not guaranteed to get one of those per box, right? Not at all. And for outsiders, it looks like they're going to be even rarer than Dynasty. So I'm not going to think too much on those, but really Marvels, they have the same effect on prices as legendaries do, because as people seek out to get them, especially collectors, they want to get them, it just makes cards of lower rarity become more abundant and lower their value because more people are chasing those big cards, and then they got a big pile of other stuff they don't need or care about. So anyways, that's Marvels. So the Majestic is the highest rarity card that you will open in every box, right? Every box. And so in that 40 box example, let's say they average, every set's a little different how many Majestics you get per box, but let's say they average 8 Majestic cards per box. Then they end up with 32 Majestics per person. Remember, they've only got 1 legendary per person, but now they've got 32 Majestics. Now most decks, your average deck, probably doesn't need to run 32 different Majestic cards, right? There's a lot of rares and common cards that see play that are staples for decks. And so they have a few extra Majestics they don't need, right? But it doesn't stop there, right? Because let's be honest, most decks are going to be wanting to play 2 or more legendary cards in it. There we go. Another Cold Foil Construct Nitro Mechanoid. It is still not the Marvel version we need, but we'll take it because we like it. We like it. That's cool. I think I've opened a play set of those now. So in your desire to get that second legendary for each person to play, and of course this is assuming you actually open the ones you want or need to play, that group's got to open another 40 boxes for them each to have 2 legendaries. And now they each have 64 Majestics available. And of course, right, that's far more than they need to play, and I think you can kind of see the picture, right? So as you see the hunt for legendaries to play with and collect, it ends up that we open enough Majestics that, really only the most sought after Majestics that literally every person at the table wants are able to maintain value, right? Because there's just a plethora of other Majestics out there. And again, if you look at Marvels, it just gets even worse because you'd be chasing those Marvels forever. That's what we're doing here. We're chasing forever. And oh man, I've got an extreme pile of extra Majestics that I don't need. It's just the way that works, right? It's kind of the math within this game. And so because of that, right, because they're so abundant, it leads to the availability that people are really often willing to sell them for under $1. Not have any prayers right there. People are willing to just throw away Majestics for under $1. You can look on TCG Player and there's a ton of Flesh and Blood Majestics for under $1 or $1.19, $1.20. You know, really anything under $2. They're just basically like, here, have it. And so that leads to the possibility in those 30 boxes that had no legendaries, they may have gotten 8 Majestics, but it's possible, very possible, that you get 8 Majestics that are all under $2, or basically then you end up with a $0 box, right? And so remember, of course, when I say $0 box, it doesn't necessarily mean that literally every card in the box is worth $0, right? Majestics that are under $2, or any card that's under $2, it's just not really worth the time and effort to try and sell it online. And because of that, then it's just not really worth counting as, you know, anything of significant value. And so that's what the $0 box really means. Like, yeah, you know, you could count this out. And, well, how much value did I get in bulk or whatever? But that's the point. And again, it's not just theory or anything, right? And if you watch the last box break it did for Uprising, it did 8 boxes, and 2 of them, one was at $2 and one was at $0. Which, again, you can go look at the Majestics. Plenty of Majestics, I think, in those boxes, but just nothing. Nothing. Even the cold foil, common cold foils, they're just not really there, value-wise. Anyway, so what about outsiders, right? That's kind of like the general idea about outsiders. Can outsiders break this trend away from there being $0 boxes and having kind of like a wider spread of value? So, Flesh and Blood, right, they've just constantly been changing the ratios of cards within a set. If you go back to Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising, you know, back then there were only 2 Majestics per box. You had the super rare slot beneath that, which, you know, pulled a lot of cards that would have been Majestics down there. And then, so you got, you know, I don't remember exactly how many of those you got per box, but only 2 Majestics. Then Crucible of War got rid of the super rare rarity. It increased the amount of Majestics. And then since then, the amount of Majestics is pretty much, Cold Foil Hyper Driver, pretty much stayed the same, and they've done a lot more of the changes in different slots, you know, right? Like the Legendary slot, Marvels, of course. Those didn't exist back in the day. Extended Arts, things like that, right? Twinning Blade came out, Crucible of War, made that unique, the whole extended art, alternate art styles. So, Outsiders, right, it continues this trend. It's going to be different. The spread is, again, it's very different. I think they're still trying to find that perfect spread of rarity across the set. So, Outsiders is going to be different. It's going to be unique, like all these sets are, right? So, the closest set we can compare it to is Uprising. Both sets are draft sets. They're draftable sets, standalone sets, and they're both from the 2.0 era of Flesh and Blood. So that means that they're both created for limited play. They've got 3 classes in it, and there's only one version of booster box that you can buy. Back in the day, right, you get your first edition one and your unlimited one. Sets now just 1 box, which is nice. Let's be honest, it is really nice just being able to pick up 1 box and not think about which version did I get. I mean, get some decent Majestics here with Pulse Wave, Harpoon, leave no witnesses behind that. So, if we look at the 2 sets, like their breakdown, Uprising, like every other set, had 1 Fabled in it. It had 6 Legendaries, 27 Majestics, and 15 Marvels. Now, Outsiders only has, well, it has 1 Fabled, has 5 Legendaries, so we got 1 less there. Then it has 31 Majestics, a couple more, and 3 Marvels. Only 3 Marvels. We've never had a set with only 3 Marvels in it that had Marvels. So that is, I mean, that's a big drop. Big drop. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Like, just significantly less Marvels. Outsiders has 1 less Legendary, but that's pretty normal. Like, there's been a lot of sets that bounce between 5 and 6, depending on the set. So Nothing, I think, too exciting or interesting on that front. And then you're gonna have, the other thing too with that is it has one less legendary, but it has 2 extended art versions in there. So it's kind of like, I mean, depending on how you look at it, it's kind of like there's really 5 Marvels. You could argue that if you want to. This is essentially kind of the same thing, right? Anyways, so there's 6 more Majestics in Outsiders than there was in Uprising, but they've lowered the pull rate down, so you're getting about 5 or 6 per box, which is pretty low compared to recent sets. Even when we're opening right now in front of us, the one we're opening in front of us with our friend Black Tech Whispers. What a case! Like, we've had some stinker Dynasty cases, and this one is pretty good. Look at this. We've got double legendaries just to prove me wrong. You can get 2. I did say 1 to 2, didn't I? I did say 1 to 2, and we got 2. That's great. That means we have the potential for a 3 legendary case. A 3 legendary case. Let's do it. Let's do it. We need we need a little bit of that bonus here for Dynasty to keep Dynasty going, because otherwise sometimes it's a disaster. Heavy blaster. So I think that overall, with the reduction in Marvels and Legendaries, and in the set, with the lowered Majestics per box, like there's more of them than Uprising, and you're gonna get them less often. It's gonna take a little bit more to get the full set of them. I think overall that means that Majestics, the value of your average Majestic should increase to some degree, right? What that is, nobody really knows, and it's not going to settle for a little bit. And of course, a lot of that really just depends on how playable is it, right? Do people actually want to play each particular Majestic? That's really what drives like an individual Majestic's value. Because again, it's just not the highest rarity card, so it's harder to be held up. It seems like for me, so even though with those changes, I wouldn't actually be surprised if the variance between box to box, Regicide extended art. Yes. Yes. Wait, I already have, no, it's on the list. Why? I couldn't find it on my list. That, 2 cards off the list. Oh man, can you guys believe that? Can you believe it? I think the key for finishing this set is I need to have conversations where I have an actual plan of what I want to talk about, and then as I talk about it, cards will just appear that I need, with the goal of trying to distract me from talking about what I was thinking of talking about. Is that how it works? If I just have the plan of rambling the whole time on who knows what, then you never pull anything exciting, because it's like, well, why would we want to distract him from his ramble? Actually give him something to talk about. Look at that, 2 cards off the list. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Back to Outsiders theory crafting. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised actually if the variance between box to box is actually a little bit bigger than it was with Uprising. And so I'll give some different ideas here, right? So it seems a little bit like they're trying to get back to like the Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising ratio of Majestics that you get. So back then there was 10 different Majestics and you got 2 per box, right? So about 5 boxes if you got the perfect split to get each one. Then now you've got 31 Majestics and Outsiders, and you get 5 to 6 per box. Again, in theory, you could get 5 boxes, and then you could get a whole complete set of them. So the ratios from that perspective are similar, but there's just a big difference between a Majestic now and one to back then, right? So here, an Outsiders, right, it has Marvels. Excuse me, it has Marvels, and it has the cold foil legendaries, and you saw, and rainbow foil. So between legendaries and fableds that you can get within a box, those things pull a significant amount of value from the Majestic slot. It's also true that, back in Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising, Majestics had nothing to compete with. Like, compared to other Majestics, it's like they're the crown of the crop. You want them in every deck that you're playing. There weren't cards that were better than them in general. So, you know, Enlightened Strike, like what else is that going to compete with? Or, you know, like any Majestic back then you opened was good value. Ooh, Spider's Bite. Cold foil Spider's Bite. This is a good value card. Nice to see that. What a case. What a case. That's in a box 3. But now, right, so for outsiders, right, the pool of cards that these Majestics have to compete with is pretty big. And so even if they're, you know, pretty good and see play, there's still a lot of other options that people can use. And, you know, it's going to be pretty tough for a card ever to be like pushing out Command and Conquer. Like, no, we're going to go with this one. Possible, of course, you can print anything. You can print anything. Oh man, I thought there for a second we had something extra spicy here in box 4. So, anyways, there's only so much room, you know, with all these big fables, legendaries, etc., Marvels, all that fun jazz. There's only so much room for the Majestic slot to have value. And so now that you only get 5 or 6 per box in outsiders, the chance that you hit one of the more valuable ones isn't super likely if you're only buying 1 box. Right? Of course it's possible, it's all random. And so, you know, it's also, it really depends on when you're opening the box, right? So this first week, like everything's gonna have more value, right? Right now, I remember yesterday I looked, they had it finally opened up. You could put a price on TCG Player for a card and it's like, well, every Majestic is some ratio of $5 of 10, 15, 20, 25. People just throwing numbers out there, right? But eventually, like every other set, a lot of these Majestics are going to hit that $2 price point or below. It's just kind of the nature of the game. Based on the ratios, I think to change that, you really have to go back to something. Look at that double gold foils. Wow, look at this case. Look at this case. You'd almost have to go back to something like Welcome to Wraith, where it's like 2 per box. And even then, like, it's gonna hold at the start, but eventually it's tough to keep that, maintain that. But of course, so remember, right? So from my opinion, yes, there's still gonna be the possibility of getting that $0 box in outsiders. I don't think you're gonna get it within week 1, but give it a couple weeks and the possibility is gonna be there. Dead Eye, wow. This is like the best, this is one of the best non-Emperor cases, non-Marvel cases we've opened. Well, I'll take it, Though I'd love to see a Marvel. I'd love to check another Marvel off that list. So anyways, remember though, you can't, even if you can get that $0 box in outsiders, it also means there's probably the possibility that you get that $200, $300 box, right? Those are definitely still around. They're still going to be around. They're going to be around for a while, as long as we keep things like this, because right, some of these cards, the legendary cards, if you got to open so many boxes to get it, and you really want that cold foil version, it's even worse. Like, you don't open that and think, well, I'll sell that for $4 or $5, right? It's going to hold some value. It's going to hold some value, especially if people want to play it. So that leads us to the question here as we're getting to the close. Like, is it worth actually buying a booster box of Dynasty? Not Dynasty, Outsiders. Is it worth buying a box of Outsiders and opening it, right? So, I mean, starting off the bat, oh, wait a minute. Looking at the list. Look at that list. Third card off the list. We got this. You people who think Dynasty or Uprising is going to beat Dynasty, I don't know. We just checked off in this box case, in the last case, we checked off 6 cards on our list. 6 cards on our list. Wow, that is like, that's progress. That's what you call progress. So, is it worth it to buy a box of Outsiders? You made it this long, you're gonna find out the answer now. Do you wanna draft it? Are you gonna use it for a sealed event? Then yes. Yes, of course it's worth it, right? The price you're paying there is in part for that experience you're gonna have doing that. So even if you don't open a big thing and you get one of those lower value boxes, it's okay, right? Totally worth it. Go it, do it, have fun, enjoy it, right? If you're gonna open 1 to 8 boxes that you open for every set for fun, right? And then you get all your singles afterwards to finish it out. Yes, do it. It's gonna be fun. Like, you know, you go into it with the mindset of, okay, if I'm buying one box, I might not get anything amazing, but I do have the chance of getting something amazing. So I'm just gonna try one and have fun. Like, go for it. Yeah, it's fun. I think it's worth it. That's kind of how, prior to Master Set Madness, I've enjoyed, you know, most games. It's like, yeah, I want to get at least 1 or 2 boxes just to try, just to roll the dice. It's not a big deal if I don't hit anything big, but it's fun. And you get the enjoyment of opening packs. And like I tell people, you know, even if you want to get singles and you're like, yeah, I know singles is the way to get the card I want, there's just something special about opening packs. And in my mind, if you take away the pack and you never get to open packs, like, I don't know, is it really a TCG at that point? I don't think so. So yeah, I think if you're gonna open a few just for fun, like you do every set, do it, go for it. And then hopefully you do hit that really awesome pull. But if you don't, not the end of the world. Now again, as we always say, if you're trying to find a certain card, should you open a box? The answer is no, because 1, you're probably not gonna find that card. And 2, if your goal again is to find a specific card, because of the variance of Flesh and Blood and the fact that you could get just a terrible, terrible, terrible box that nobody ever wants to look at again. Sorry, that's cold foil, right? You might get that stinker box and you might not even then be able to trade or sell your cards and then buy the card that you were trying to get. Just don't do it, it's not worth it. If you're trying to flip a profit, right? The answer is no, because again, especially if you're just buying 1 or even a case, like so many cases, you're not gonna get a profit. Sorry, I just hate to break it to you. If you don't believe me, go back and watch all of Master Set Madness, and you can come out and you'll say, hey, but you did well on this box. It's like, yeah, I did well on that box, but you missed like the 4 boxes before it, right? You gotta look at the whole thing. So if you're trying to make money, there are better, more consistent ways to do that. Unless, of course, you're a store, right? If you're a store, it's a different story. You're not paying as much as all the rest of us not store people, non-LGS people. So then you go for it, right? And then, of course, if you want to create a Master Set Madness, yes, you should open the boxes because you can't do it without it. Though I don't suggest anybody else try Master Set Madness because, as you can see, it gets a little crazy. It gets a little crazy. But at the end of the day, somebody needs to open the boxes. Somebody's got to do it, so I'll do it. I'll do it. I think it's fun. I have fun doing it, and I only do this because it is enjoyable and it's fun. I get to share it with all you guys. I am going to check the prices on this case, but before I do, I think it's just nice to point out too, is if you're still thinking about, I'm not sure, should I get a case or buy a box? You don't have to buy it right away. I think one of the best ways of making that decision is first watching other people open the product. You can get a good idea for the variance and whether or not you're okay with buying that and how much you want to get. That's one of the reasons I do Master Set Madness here. This weekend, we're going to be opening a ton of Outsider boxes all next week. And something I've wanted to improve for Outsiders Master Set Madness is I'm going to be tracking way more information than I did here for Dynasty. So for Master Set Madness Outsiders, we're going to be tracking all of our pull rates. You will know what the average per box, per case is for everything from Majestics to Legendaries, Fableds, Marvels, everything. It's all going to be on that tracker. This time too, I'm actually going to keep track of every single Majestic that I get, every single big hit. So I'm going to have a nice spread of information there in case there's any random Majestic that's short printed or something. Hopefully we'll be able to find it. And also, like I've been doing at the end of every video where I put the price of the case on here, I'm actually going to be keeping track of that all in the tracker this time, and I'm going to be updating it as we go. So as prices change, I'm going to update the value of what cards are worth. So you'll have a really clean and clear vision of what a box is worth, what a case is worth, what the variance is of what you can get, and that gives you a great idea of deciding, yep, this is worth it or not worth it for me. Now this video is sponsored by me and by viewers like you. So this Outsiders tracker is going to be available for my patrons. If you think this tracker would be valuable for you, if it's going to be helpful for you in making decisions, if you just like having this kind of information, or maybe you're a store owner who wants to have more access to more information so you can make decisions on purchasing future Flesh and Blood products and cracking them and opening them, head on over to my Patreon. Every level of Patreon gets access to this tracker. the support you all give me by liking, watching, subscribing to my videos, and of course any Patreon support means a lot to me. Thank you all for what you do. And anyways, let's get back to checking what's the value of this Dynasty case. So we're back. We got $288 of value in this case. Really not bad for some of the cases we've seen. We didn't have any $0 boxes, which was great. These little gold are kind of fun. You know, $4 a piece, but nice. Nice to get a little bonus there. Of course, some of our bigger hits. Regicide, checking that one off the list. Still a few dollars. These cold foils here. Watch out for these, right? Mechanologist. At some point, Mechanologist will be in another draft set. Things are gonna get wild there. Be ready for that. Black Tech Whisperers. We hadn't seen one of those in a long time. And then again, another cold foil legendary. Very rare. Very rare in this set. Nothing to look at on the back. If you want to see how rare it's been for me, again, you can check the tracker for Dynasty in the description. That one's available to everyone. Again, it's just going to be the Outsiders one. That's going to be for patrons only. And then yes, here, I know some of you like to mention this. I went and found all the Majestic foils that I missed. And I don't know, there's something about Buckle. I don't know, maybe it's going to be a meme. I'm just going to like have to throw Buckle down here every single time. I don't know, but I did find them. They're there. We'll get there. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you all soon for Outsiders. It's going to be a great Master Set Madness. Thank you guys. Have a great day.